Welcome to this week's episode of Brain. Brain, of course, stands for bots, research, automation, inference, and networking.
And the reason it's that today is because today we'll talk about Boston Dynamics, optical illusions, AI in healthcare, and home automation. Let's go!
All right, I want to thank GenerosityX. GenerosityX partners with charities to increase their annual giving revenue through optimization and innovation and ethical use of AI. Check out GenerosityX.com.
Thank you, GenerosityX. So, Dave.
Yes, I want to talk about Boston Dynamics.
Yep.
And their release at CES. So they announced, they showed off the Atlas, their latest version of the Atlas.
Not to be confused with ChatGPT's browser.
They did not show off ChatGPT's browser called Atlas. They show off their robot Atlas, which has a bunch of pretty cool and unique features. One of the biggest ones is that 360-degree joint rotation.
On all the joints almost.
Yeah, and infinite rotation. So if they're in a certain spot, let's say they've moved 350 degrees around their movement, and they need to go back to position 10 degrees, they can just move 20 instead of all the way back around. Right. So it's a little bit quicker movement. They have 360-degree vision. They're fully electric now. So remember the early ones that had the motors, and they were positioning them for like military applications. Yes. And I always wondered, how are they going to sneak up on the enemy with this gas-powered robot dog? Well, it's solved now. They're all electric. They have these special fingers, so they don't have hands. They don't have the lobster claw. They have 3 fingers, but they all rotate and pivot differently so that any one of those 3 fingers can become a thumb.
Yeah. They can replace their own batteries.
They can share their learning with others in their swarm, if you will. I'm not sure what they're calling their hive. They've ditched hydraulics in favor of electric motors, which is what a lot of the other manufacturers are doing. They're building 30,000 units this year, all for their one customer, Hyundai.
Wow.
And they're going to be deploying them all out to their factories. The brains are powered by Google's DeepMind.
Yep.
And they're going to basically use this first release of tens of thousands of robots for real-world training.
It makes a lot of sense because Hyundai has invested a ton of money into manufacturing in the U.S. So it's like Boston Dynamics, U.S. company, Hyundai coming to the U.S. to do manufacturing. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so really, really cool. And on Wednesday, I'm going to talk about why I hate it.
Great! Join us on Wednesday for that. Did you see that 1X? I will stop calling them the company that released Neo.
Yeah.
I'm going to call them 1X because I think they're actually doing some phenomenal things. This past week, I got a notification in my email that was, hey, advancement, not what you think.
Okay.
A major advancement in our AI models for Neo. And they have this incredible video. I'll show pieces of it here.
Once you prompt Neo, it'll take what it sees as input to generate a visualization of how to complete the request. As you can see on the screen below, Neo is visualizing how to perform this task using its world model. You can either have Neo automatically execute the generation or choose the best one to run from among several parallel generations. While Neo has never seen these objects before, there are still some examples of pick-and-place tasks in our dataset. So one might assume it's generalizing to a similar task to create this visualization. But this is not the case. With the world model, Neo can perform any task with any object, whether there is existing data or not. Not only has Neo never seen this toilet, but it has never performed a task anywhere near similar. Without any prior data on how to operate a toilet seat, the transfer of human knowledge becomes a lot more apparent.
What they've introduced is the 1XWM, 1X World Model. And it is a model that is a visual language model. And similar to what we were talking about on last podcast, we had this training of visual data into robotics. What it does is it perceives future potential frames of video data into physical world. It maps video data onto its physical world model and then trains itself with those little videos. So there's this video of a guy, the engineer, sitting beside him, basically he was putting an orange in the box, getting Neo to put an orange in the box, and he could select which of the videos looked closest to what he wanted to accomplish, and then Neo mapped his own physical kind of world on top of that and did the orange movement into the box. This is without training. So just to prove that he could do it, they did it with like a toilet seat, lifting the toilet seat. That it was some scenario that he'd never done before. This robot had never done.
Well, and why would he?
Exactly.
Why would he?
Exactly.
I gotta tell you, if I ever catch my Neo in front of the toilet,
cleaning the toilet, Dave. That's what it's for.
We've talked in the past about your future abuse of your Neo.
Yeah.
And I can picture you now standing there. Neo, come and lift the seat.
or Neo, come and wipe my. Let's move on.
Yeah. So actually, it is very interesting. We talked about VJEPA last episode, and one thing we specifically talked about was the Neos that we ordered.
Exactly.
And I was saying that by the time they arrive, there's going to be new models that they didn't even expect to exist when we bought the Neos, and that's already happening.
Yeah.
So I did get that same email.
Yes.
I didn't read it, but I got it because of having put a deposit down on a Neo. So that's funny. It just proves the point from 2 weeks ago.
Exactly. Like, things are moving so fast.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And speaking of moving fast, Anthropic launched a new department called Labs. It's headed up by Mike Krieger, the co-founder of Instagram, who's Anthropic's chief product officer, and Ben Mann, who was Anthropic's co-founder and currently their lead engineer. They have been tasked with creating a rapid development team to quickly produce products and deploy them.
Seems doable given that they have Claude.
Yeah, exactly. And Claude's, like they've said, it's writing 80 or 85% of their code already.
Yeah.
So Daniela Amodei, the president of Anthropic, says the speed of advancement in AI demands a different approach to how we build, how we organize, and where we focus. Labs gives us room to break the mold and explore.
Yeah.
Just a really, really nimble, rapid scaling team.
And swiftly on the tail of that, or maybe even at the same time, they announced Cowork. Right? Anthropic launches Cowork. So what is Cowork? If you've used Claude Code to do any coding, Cowork is this new feature that kind of helps alongside desktop computer work. It's not really for coding per se. It can do that, but it allows you to give access to a file folder on your computer. And then Claude can do all kinds of things in Claude. Cowork can do cool things inside that file folder. It can create files, it can delete files, it can manipulate all kinds of different file types. And it does this in kind of in a protected fashion when it has specific things that it wants to, it believes needs extra permissions, it'll ask for permission. It's, I was playing with it last night, downloaded it. It's really cool. I can see it. It's a much less technical, I would say, useful product for a broader set of people.
Yeah, I think they've said, like, with Claude Code, technical people have been using it to do less technical things.
Yes.
And with Cowork, it's non-technical people using it to do technical things.
That's right.
And so a lot of the Claude Code users that have started using Cowork have said that it's a little lackluster.
Right.
They're like, we're already doing this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, what's new for us?
And they're like, it's not for you.
Yeah, it's not for them. But they are making up a lot of the early user base. And Anthropic has said this is not a perfect product. This is our science lab experiment getting put out into the wild, so we can quickly get feedback on an early release and improve the product.
Yeah, and I think that's great actually, because what happens very often is big companies don't release products to the crowd, and then the crowd is not able to say like, this is broken already. It doesn't do these 5 things we really need, and so they end up doing that work in public. And this is really good. They just get to do it ahead of time. So I really like it. It's super cool.
Yeah, and a point on the file safety thing. From what I understand, it actually starts like a virtual machine on your computer.
That's right.
And then maps a folder that you've given permission. It maps the folder to that virtual machine.
Yes.
So it is really sandboxed and can't wander around freely all over your operating system.
That's right. Yeah.
An interesting kind of business application for this. Kind of thought of 2. So one is like a file system architecture consulting. So to be able to go into large data storage drives for a company and be able to logically sort their data and their resources for faster retrieval by humans or by machines. And the other one is like a compliance auditor. So searching for personally identifiable information or anything that's kind of GDPR kind of risky, it can actually search through all of the files and then identify risks and help manage that. Now, as a consultant going into a business doing that, it feels like you're cheating.
Yeah,
because you've been given this really powerful tool.
That's right.
And I think that the people watching or ourselves that use these tools all the time, we think it's cheating because we know
how to use
what's happening.
Yeah, exactly.
But to a corporation that would hire you, to them it's a solution. You are providing a solution. They don't know. They're not sitting there thinking, I could use Claude Cowork to do this. They're not thinking that.
Right. Yes.
You're thinking that.
That's right.
They're not thinking that.
Yeah.
So there is a really good opportunity there.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the countless front desk people who are doing admin work. I'm thinking about my wife who works at a wellness center and deals with a lot of patient files all on desktops that are kind of they are themselves sandboxed away from the internet and stuff for client records reasons and stuff like that. That is like a really good environment for co-work, because if you're dealing with a lot of images you need to analyze or a lot of stuff, you put them all in this little protected environment, virtual machine or file folder. It looks like a file folder to the end user, and it can do work in that space and do it really quickly. And to me, it does feel like, to those people who are saying it's not a technical tool, like it's not like, it doesn't seem like magic, like it did originally. I think it will be way more accessible to way more people who just need help managing the inundation of information in file formats that they have.
And how far have we come that a tool that can automate that much?
Oh man,
is considered a not technical tool.
Yeah, exactly. We've come pretty far in the last 6 months, a year. It's pretty nuts.
Yeah. Now, speaking of healthcare, I think you had another note from Anthropic.
Well, that's the thing. That's why I was talking about the front desk people at clinics and offices everywhere. Anthropic released Claude for Health, which is a HIPAA compliant version really of Claude Skills, is my understanding. It is a healthcare first release of some of their models. And as I'm sure a lot of us are aware, it's like medical records, the ramifications of trying to get help for insurance policies, filing your dental records appropriately, making sure you get paid back appropriately for insurance reasons. Like, all of that stuff is informationally very straightforward for Claude to do. So to me, it makes so much sense that they've made this kind of tool specifically for healthcare. I think this is a big one. This is like, I can see this basically taking over the healthcare industry in the U.S. in very fast fashion, because it will mean the kinds of enhancements to work that we've been talking about for months now. Just the stuff that you don't want to have to do, should be done by these protected models. And because they're falling within protocols for the healthcare industry to protect client records, I think it's just a huge boon for the healthcare industry. Yeah.
Yeah, and along those lines, OpenAI also just acquired Torch last week or the week before. $100 million. Torch was a small startup focusing on the handling of medical documents, so doctor's notes, lab results, and imaging, and giving users a way to store and organize that documentation themselves, as well as to understand it more easily. Now, since then, in the last week, between January 8th and 14th, there were 2 other launches by OpenAI. So they bought Torch, and then they launched GPT Health, which is consumer-facing health medical records AI platform, which integrates with Apple Health and MyFitnessPal and a bunch of other apps like that to keep all of your health data in one spot. And they launched GPT for healthcare. So an enterprise version of that, so accessing medical documents on the other end.
I would not be surprised if that's actually the team going like, oh, we acquired Torch, let's build something overnight and release it with GPT 5.2 codex.
Yeah, slap some new badges on it.
Exactly.
Our new product.
Exactly.
Yeah, again, it's all HIPAA compliant. It allows people to search for diagnosis from all of their data that they've put in.
Yeah, so
it helps
cool.
to make your medical information more accessible. So
to yourself,
yourself, but also with GPT-4 healthcare, it's being used in Mayo Clinic, Cedar Sinai, and Memorial Sloan Kettering. So like already 3 big institutions.
But imagine that for a second. Imagine being able to have all of your historical medical records, dental records, all the medication you've ever taken from pharmacies, anything, all in one place that you can then ask questions against. Like, what should I be doing? Should I be taking this medication? No. And, getting that information very quickly. Oh, man.
Because there can be long-term side effects between medications as well. And how many times you go to the hospital for a broken whatever. And
not many, but go.
And they ask you any allergies. The person at the front does. Any allergies? No allergies. Okay. Any history of whatever? No. Next person. Any allergy? No. Still none. Still none.
Yeah.
Third person. It's like every question. Like why can't they distribute?
Yeah.
Just like, kind of the simple information.
Here's my card. It tells you everything.
Tablet that I've signed into, and it has everything about me and speedy diagnosis and all that.
Yes.
Now, so OpenAI also launched GPT 5.2 codex a while back, but Cursor just announced that they're integrating it and they said, we believe it is the frontier model for long-running tasks.
Yeah.
And so Cursor's now made it available.
Yep. I've installed it. Did you install it into Cursor yet?
I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't.
It's pretty cool.
I do like Composer.
Yep, Composer's cool.
So Composer's not that old.
No.
And it's kind of interesting to see Cursor already being like, GPT 5.2 is pretty great.
Yeah.
When they just launched Composer, which is good.
Yep.
Opus 4.5 is still very good.
Yes.
So I haven't. Maybe I don't have many long running tasks. Except for that site that I cloned a few weeks back. That was probably one of the longest running tasks.
How long did it run to do that?
I wasn't keeping track.
Okay. But more than 15 minutes.
Yeah, it was probably a bit more than 15 minutes to go through the entire site and clone it.
Well, to put that in perspective, like they're saying that GPT 5.2 codex inside of Cursor can run for a day and a half. It's long. That's a long time.
What do you build? Yeah. What are you building?
Well, we can
because I've built some pretty big projects where I've outlined the documentation pretty well and like all of my feature lists and like tons of integrations.
Yep.
And I found that they're so fast now.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what kind of specs I'd have to put in to be like build for a day and a half.
Well, I mean, that brings up the next thing I'm talking about, which is Project Pronghorn, which is an interesting one. Pronghorn is a publicly open source release of an agent framework that was released by the government of Alberta, which is a province in the country of Canada, for those who don't know.
Just tucked away.
Tucked away out west, lots of oil. But anyways, they released this project, and what it is a composition, an AI composition tool. It has access to agents, has access to a lot of protocols that are documentation specs for being in compliance for government releases.
Oh, interesting.
So it has like tax specs on making sure that it has military specs.
So did they release it for like their vendors to use?
To be honest, I'm not sure why they released it. It's open source.
Yeah.
But I think they mainly released it. So for instance, if you go to Pronghorn, I'll get the URL here. If you go to this URL and you start a project, it basically walks you through the steps of all the documentation first. Here's all the specs. Here's how much the budget is. Here are the different compliances that you have to appeal to for this. Like, so you could pick like a spec that has to do with military data, and then it will build all of that into an MD, into a markdown file for your use inside of your compositions, wherever you're building your software. And then it will actually has agents that work in the background that build some of the software for you so that it is compliant.
Right.
It's fascinating that a province in Canada is releasing software this way. Have you ever heard of any?
I haven't. That's super smart though.
Super smart.
I mean, I think it makes sense at many levels of government.
Yeah.
To have an AI model or agentic system that can ensure that vendors are submitting proper documentation to you in the proper format with the proper constraints, but also small businesses, large businesses can make sure that they're in compliance, that they're doing things correct for tax, for whatever. I think that's very, very smart.
So smart.
And that can happen at a city level, province level, national, whatever.
Exactly.
Very smart.
Yeah.
And along those lines, so Jensen Huang recently gave a warning on sovereign AI, and really pushing for nations to own their own data, their own infrastructure. He says no country can afford to outsource its intelligence. Their country's data is part of their natural resource, and they have to make sure that they harness that natural resource and translate it into artificial intelligence.
I would call that both a warning / sales pitch.
It is.
Right?
It is.
Yeah.
Buy my stuff. I'll help you out.
I'll help you.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. But I think that kind of translates across, like we were saying, provincially or city level or federally or state levels, whatever. But I think that's also true for a lot of organizations and businesses out there, that they should be considering how they're protecting their data, how they're harnessing their institutional knowledge, so that it becomes the longest tenured employee that has all of the knowledge and everything that's ever been run. I'm going to unpack this subject a bit more on Wednesday as well.
Amazing.
Now, another announcement that they made, didn't make,
was
that
the non-announcement.
CES. NVIDIA said for the first time in 5 years, they did not release a consumer-grade GPU. There were a lot of people speculating that there was going to be an RTX 50 Super Series, and they squashed that. They quashed and squashed that rumor.
So many people are angry.
Yeah. And instead they said we're going to be focusing on AI and AI software. And why wouldn't they? Why would you work hard to sell one GPU to one gamer when you can sell 20,000 to a country?
20,000, $100,000 GPUs or whatever.
100,000.
20,000 million.
Yeah. So really interesting. A lot of gamers kind of disappointed. But yeah, I mean, I've been so tempted to install Steam on my server that sits in the closet. With the best GPUs I've ever owned. I've been so tempted to install
just game
a graphic interface, Steam, run an HDMI cable all
Yeah.
the way out to the monitor, the 49-inch monitor that's also just displaying lots of text.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the best gaming setup I've
I
ever
can
had.
imagine Danielle in another room going like, "Are you really training a model
Yeah,
in there?"
yeah, I'm training it to
I'm training it to.
be a good counter-terrorist.
Yeah,
Listen,
exactly.
if you're still watching at this point, please do take a moment to like and subscribe to our channel and leave a comment. Tell us what you are enjoying and what you're not enjoying, and help us make better content. That's it.
We could be better, I guess.
You could for sure.
I mean, for sure.
There's room.
Some of us
There's room.
could be better.
Tell me about how you did all your research this week.
Okay, so this week I made a commitment to both us and to the audience without telling them. But I made this decision that I would source all of my news items directly from our new brainmediaconsulting.com/AI-news site.
So catchy.
I know, so catchy.
So catchy.
The link is right here, and it's in the description. So that's where we have this aggregation tool that goes and gets a ton of news from all the top sources and puts it all in one place in a really Dave, you did a great job.
Thanks.
You did a great job on the AI news section of our site. So that's where all of the news that I've covered, I'm not sure where Dave got his, but I got it from a reputable source, brainmediaconsulting.com.
That agent, there's several automations. They're N8N self-hosted N8N automations that go out to source, like proper source news feeds. So NVIDIA, Microsoft, Meta.
Yeah.
It's going to the source, not to other news sites.
Yep.
It concisely summarizes the release into a few sentences of like here's what was released. It puts it into a few bullet points of why is it important, and it'll give you a suggestion on a business that you could start or a business process you can enhance.
Yeah.
Then it will link you to the original source if you want to read more.
So good.
We also have a newsletter sign up on that page. We don't have the newsletter automation configured yet, but we will be setting up daily and weekly digests of the news so that you can get your news more easily and in a really easy to consume format.
Yeah.
So sign up now and you'll start getting them at some point.
I personally love it. It saved me a ton of time, and you guys should all use it immediately.
Yeah. Now, in terms of searches and search engine optimization, or what we would have called generative engine optimization, Google's now calling it LLM bait. So people started to write content specifically for LLMs to consume.
That's right.
And for AI summaries to summarize more easily.
And Google was like, do not!
Yeah, stop doing that. What they want, shockingly, is for humans to write articles for humans and allow the AI to summarize it.
Yes.
Don't try to
Do
fool it into favoring your content, or they will punish you. They've said that they will.
You'll actually, your ranking will drop if you do these summaries. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. If they think that you're trying to intentionally fool their system, it'll drop you down. So do keep creating really good content for humans on your sites, and
it does beg the question: like, will the future of the internet be a bunch of humans going around looking for information, or will we just train our models to go and get the stuff? And I don't know. It's an interesting world we live in right now. Like, a lot of this information gathering, I wonder how it's happening. I spend a lot less time now on a browser looking through sites. I'll talk to my Gemini, to my Google Home, and ask information. My best friend, Gemini at home. Which gives, that's the next topic here, is like this home automation. So I was interested in this because this announcement actually happened in October, that they launched Gemini for Google Home. But in Canada, we've only had access to these new models like on our devices as of this week. So that's if this feels.
I think it's been a couple weeks now.
A couple weeks, yeah. If this is new though, if it feels like we're talking about something that's old, that's why. It's because it was in the US already, and it wasn't deployed to Canada until like recently.
Mm-hmm.
But have you used your Google Home stuff? Automation stuff?
Yes, a bunch. But what is new, just on the 12th,
Yep.
they released 20 new
Yes,
ways to
automate it.
Yeah.
That's right.
So new triggers and much more complex
Right.
processes.
I guess what I'm talking about is, you know how the voice changed?
Yeah, and the lights.
And the lights and stuff. Yeah. So like that's new to us as of the last few weeks, but a bunch of viewers here will have had that for months.
Yeah. It does. So on the 12th, they did launch a larger suite of features. They have a new one called Help Me Create, which is really cool. So under the automation section, you can use natural language to set up really complicated.
Yeah, like bundling on.
Yeah. So if it's after dawn and I turn on the TV, dim these lights.
Yeah.
Change,
50%.
close my curtains,
Yeah.
do like all this stuff.
Yeah.
Or if I turn off the TV and it's after 11 p.m.
Yep.
Wait 5 minutes, then turn off the living room. Wait half an hour, then turn off the whatever.
Yep.
You can chain all these things together.
Yeah.
Using natural language, and it'll build it for you.
For sure.
So you don't have to manually do it anymore. It has a
it'll be
natural
like,
language process.
After 10 p.m., turn my dryer on if the lights at the front door are off. It's like, you know, like, I don't know why.
Yeah, don't want anyone to know you're drying your clothes.
So the home automation stuff is getting super interesting. I'm also very much into home automation. Like I have been for a long time. I think I have a Google Home in every single one of our rooms in the house. So there's nowhere that you can be in the house where you can't like turn on the lights with your voice or stuff like that. And that's kind of what it was, a glorified light switch for into all intents and purposes for a long time, but it's becoming so much more powerful.
Do your kids use it, or do you just use it?
My kids use it.
Because my kids don't.
In
fairness, for like very basic stuff.
In fairness, my kids never turn off the lights.
Okay,
so
I have my 17-year-old daughter.
Yep.
I put all of her lights are smart bulbs.
Okay.
Set it whatever color you want.
Yeah.
Any bright, whatever you want.
Let me guess.
Dance.
White.
Yeah. Just soft white.
Yeah.
And a Google Home. And automations, or like automation switches, like home automation switches on their outlets for like her lava lamp and stuff.
Yes.
And I went in the other day, the Google Home's just unplugged. she said, you know what she said? She said, I don't like its new voice.
Yeah. That's what Michelle said. That's what my wife said, like, the voice sucks.
It's like a stranger. Like, I got so used to the old voice.
Totally.
Like, who is this? Like, well, we can choose a different voice if you want.
You can have another stranger in the home if you want.
Jazz voice. Yeah. Yeah, I just find it funny that she's not interested at all. Like, you can play music through it. Like, it's a pretty good little speaker.
It is.
Like, they don't want it. I got my headphones.
Yeah.
So, okay.
I've had many occasions where I'll see the adapter for the Google Home plugged into an iPad charging it. I was like, you can't unplug the Google Home to charge your iPad.
That's
like,
awesome.
Please don't do that.
That's so funny. It is interesting. I mean, that we are, I mean, our generation loves that stuff.
Yeah.
Man, when I was a teenager, to change the color of my lights,
I know.
I could do that with my voice.
Yeah.
Magic.
Yeah.
Magic.
Tell us about this Gemini scheduling thing.
Yeah, so Gemini also launched a scheduler. So within the chat, you can say, like, in 15 minutes, do this. Send me and ask it, can you send an email? Can you send a text? Like, what are we talking about here? Anything. Google Home automation. So within the chat, turn off the lights, turn off the whatever. I wasn't sure what I was going to use it for at first.
Yep.
So I was like, in 15 minutes, send me an email that says, here's your automated email. Like, that's all I could come up with. So
Good
it's like,
test, Dave.
All right, I'll send you an email in 15 minutes. And so 15 minutes goes by. I'm like, what's going on here? I don't think I got the email. So I scroll back up and I check the notes, and it says, this will happen within an hour of when you want it to happen.
What?
So not really precise.
Yeah, that's not a
Your prompt will
scheduler.
run within an hour of the selected time. I'm like, okay, well, that's not perfect.
That's
I would say.
that's a fail in my mind.
Yeah.
Like, a scheduler is like, it should be to the minute at the very, very worst.
Yeah.
It should be down to the second.
You'd think so.
Yeah.
But sure enough, within 15 minutes or an hour of those 15 minutes, Guess what happened?
You got an email.
I didn't, but I did get
Wow,
a
you
push
didn't.
notification saying send an email to yourself.
No. Unbelievable.
So I'm sure it works better than my one test. But it didn't really go.
I'm gonna put an X on
smoothly
Google on
as I thought.
scheduling for Gemini.
Yeah.
What is it? What is its intended purpose?
The
Do you
scheduler?
know? Yeah, the scheduler.
I'm not certain.
Okay.
Now maybe you can tie it into like agent mode.
Other agentic features.
Yeah, maybe you could tie it into a deep research.
Yeah.
When you're done, make my lights go green. I don't know.
Can you tie it into the new Scribe V2 by 11 Labs?
Probably not. But
Okay.
voice models.
Yeah.
This is actually one of the really cool one. Let me just go back here. So 11 Labs just launched version 2 of Scribe. It's accurate. It's multiple languages, all that stuff.
Yes.
The really cool thing is the speed. The time to interpret what you're saying is under 150 milliseconds.
Yeah, that's crazy fast.
So in user interfaces, if something can happen under 100 milliseconds, you feel like you did it. If it's more than 150, you feel like you did it, you pushed it, and then it happened.
Right.
And so that's why that timing is so important to be under that mark, is because it feels real time.
Right.
So translation, real time.
Yeah.
Captioning, real time. You're at an event and you want to put closed captioning on a big screen as a person is speaking, 150 milliseconds to interpret it to text.
Wow.
Now, one of the kind of extended benefits of that is that robots can listen as fast as they can speak.
Right.
And so since the primary way that we will communicate to them is through
words.
speech,
Yeah.
they will be able to understand it immediately. So right now you go, I don't want to say it, hey, Google.
Yeah.
And it goes, bloop, bloop, bloop. Yes, right? And it takes like seconds to get there. This will be able to hear it instantly. So when you're like, Neo, no, put the seat down yet, I'm not done. It'll know right away.
Yeah, it'll immediately know. Which is kind of mind-blowing when you think about it. Like, how long does it take for, like, one of the things we take for granted is the fact that when I'm saying something, you hear it immediately, interpret it, and respond. It's not that different from some of these world models that we've been talking about, Gen Zero and the Neo, and like having to deal with real-world physics. You know, and if that's not fast, there's some pretty dangerous things that can happen, right? Yeah. Like, you don't want these models not to respond quickly. Some of them in certain use cases, it has to be as close to real time, if not real time.
Yeah, includes speaker diarization, so who's talking, audio tagging for things like laughter, footsteps, and background noise. It's about 40 cents per hour.
Wow, that's really not expensive.
It's nothing. And then finally,
per hour.
Per hour.
That's bananas.
Yeah. It's
so cheap.
Yeah, I think it's less than bananas.
It's less than bananas.
And then finally, the last one that came out just as I was preparing, I saw it, and that's Replit has now made it possible for you to make mobile apps.
Yeah,
within Replit.
This is a huge.
That's huge. Their tagline is that you can go from idea to the App Store in minutes.
So
you come with an idea, it creates no Xcode for you. It just codes it all. You test it on your device and deploy it to the App Store.
I cannot tell you how many iOS apps I have worked on.
Yeah.
Even with like code help. Yeah. And been like, oh, this is quite frustrating.
Yeah.
If you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, I've been there. I don't think I've made any apps that have gone past my phone.
Okay.
Just because it was a lot of work, and Xcode, it's like its whole ecosystem and all this stuff. Now you can do it so fast.
Wow, Replit. Way to go, Replit.
High five, Replit.
Yeah.
That's all I've got for this week.
Same here. It's dusted and done.
Yeah, thank you again to GenerosityX for making this episode possible. GenerosityX works with charities to help improve their annual giving revenue and to thoughtfully incorporate AI into their processes. Check them out at generosityx.com, and we will see you back here in 2 weeks. Don't forget to hit subscribe, or otherwise you might miss it.
The world will change in those 2 weeks, so you should come back.
We will.
Yeah.
We'll see you then.
Bye.